It's a clean sweep. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, Barry M. Osborne, Peter Jackson, and Fran Walsh producers.
Hello, I'm Patricia Ferrancol. I'm going to discuss about the 2004 Oscar winner for the Best Picture, which was none other than The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Beware of spoilers, let's get started. The Return of the King. This was the final trilogy of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings, directed by Peter Jackson and released in 2003. So what made it the best and most influential movie ever? Let's first talk about the movie itself. Okay, as a kid, I used to watch these three trilogies of Lord of the Rings, and to be honest, it was kinda hard to understand what's happening in the movie. I watched it twice, and even if it's so long, it was worth watching. I recommend all the people to watch it. In the first scene, I was surprised that we get back to the story of Smeagol and how he got the ring. And it shocks me because I didn't know he was a hobbit also. It's really creepy and disturbing on how he became the Gollum when he completely changed to a monster. Okay, moving on. Gandalf leads Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, and King Theoden to Isengard, where they meet with Merry and Pippin. Gandalf returns to Edoras with Saruman's Palantir, and the company gathers at Helm's Deep to celebrate their victory. Actually, I saw the longer version, and understand why it was cut, but will be available to understand each other's perspective. However, it has to be reduced because the movie is almost 3 hours long. But hey, you get to see how Saruman died, so you won't be curious on what happened to him that time. And moving on Sam and Frodo, Gollum blames Sam for disposing of the Hobbit's food. Frodo, believing Sam is after the ring, advises him to return home before he and Gollum carry on to Modus Tunnel. Gollum makes him go to huge spider lair. I hate that part when Frodo didn't believe in Sam. Like, come on, you're a friend that rescued and protect you many times, and suddenly you're choosing someone who attempted to kill and stole the ring. But as I watch the movie, Frodo becomes something else. He's like not himself. He gets weak and pale the closer they get to the volcano because the light also vanishes when they go to the turret. Sam needs to be strong for Frodo and protect him at all costs, no matter how Frodo changes. I know that Sam was one of the most significant characters in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, because without him, their quest would fail quickly and Frodo would die on the journey. And later on, after an unsuccessful attempt to recover Osgiliath, Faramir is wounded and thrown unconscious, thinking his son to be dead, like still looks like alive and well and still want him to be burned alive. In this scene was so epic that you will also be engaged in the king's speech and see the epic battle of the Middle-earth and orcs, and I like Ian because she's the woman that was ready to fight and save her people from her enemies. And you could see how incredible it was filmed, with the entire army sprinting to engage the battle, and after that, Aragorn and his friends made an army of the dead to kill all the enemies like the orcs and the big elephants. This is like when you're in the game, that you are in the cheat mode that you could win at any cost, no matter how strong or many enemies they got, because you can't kill a dead person because it's dead. Now here is where Frodo came into the spider's lair, where Gollum lured him so that Frodo would be killed and Gollum now can steal the ring. And the sad thing is that Frodo got covered by the spider's web. But the good thing is, Sam was always there to rescue him and kill the spider. Like, he is literally the Samwise and Sam the Brave. He's the one of the kind friend that you could have. And now, they plan to lure the orcs into the Black Gate after their victory in Aragorn's army. So Frodo and Sam can easily go to the volcano because their path was clear and there were no guards, and Sauron's eye would be distracted and looking only at the battle. They won't win this battle, but the most important part is the ring to be destroyed and have faith in Frodo to complete his mission. Frodo and Sam are closer now to the volcano, but they are really weak and in bad shape. They can't move any faster, they are really in pain and tired, but they never stop and keep moving forward. Now, here at the time they're giving up because Frodo is like dying and weak, but Sam is like his hope and life. And this scene was very iconic. And they shouldn't give up because they are already at the end of their mission and go back to the Shire, their homeland. The next is Sauron is speaking to Aragorn in his head in this moment. It's as if they're being told to give up since they're already losing. They have no way of knowing if Frodo is truly dead at that point. They have a little chance against 10,000s of orcs. Maybe it's worth fighting for even if you're not sure there's any hope. And then, Aragorn looks behind and sees Gandalf and whispers to him for Frodo, and then charges in the battle, and everyone follows him. Even if they believe Frodo is dead, they still want to fight at the very end to kill all the enemies and to avenge their friends. It's like it's better to fight till the end than surrender in the enemy's arms. And now, when Frodo and Sam were getting closer to the volcano, Gollum stops them and tries to take the ring, but failed and Frodo ran inside and go to the edge. All he had to do now is let go of the ring. And Frodo doesn't easily want to let go of the ring, and Sam is like, what are you waiting for? Just drop it and let it go. And the ring was like talking to Frodo that was stopping him from destroying it. It's like a mind control that was happening, and because Frodo was so weak, he gets easily controlled by the power of the ring. And Frodo suddenly turned around and said, "The ring is mine." That part was so intense because it was so close to getting destroyed and suddenly it stops. And Frodo puts the ring and turns invisible. Sam was like shocked and no, why did you do that? And Sauron detected the ring because it was easier to find the ring when the ring barrier is using it. Sauron can get closer to the one who is using it and he calls his army to get the ring. And Gollum showed up and jumped into Frodo and find the ring even if he's invisible. Gollum can find the footstep of Frodo, and after he jumps, he bites out his finger and to get the ring, and Gollum jumps and celebrates in joy. Now he finally gets his ring back. But Frodo also wants the ring like Gollum, and he fights back to obtain the ring, and they both fall in the cliff, and Gollum falls in the lava along the ring, embracing the ring, and the ring melts and all the darkness is beginning to crumble, and the eye is in pain, and the tower is destroyed, and all the orcs are scared, like they know what's gonna happen, and they like keep running up their lives. And now the ring was destroyed. They realized Frodo and Sam was still alive because they complete their mission, and after that they were rescued, and Frodo woke up, and the scene was like you are in heaven, the kind of thing when you feel like at peace and home, and all of them reunite and celebrate. And this scene was like a tear of joy because Frodo didn't know Gandalf was alive at that time. He was so happy that his friends were there, waiting for him to wake up. And Sam is smiling at him at the back, and the hobbits go back to the Shire and continue their lives. Sam had a family, and many years passed, but the four hobbits and Gandalf gather in the ship areas because Frodo needs to leave and his scar doesn't heal that much. And all of them cried, and I cried too, because they are not gonna be complete anymore. My thoughts in the movie, I was completely blown away. The story was amazing. This inspired many future movies. That's why it became so influential. It's the best adventure movie. The character develops along the journey and the fight for what they believe. Each of them has different personalities in the group, like elves, dwarves, wizard, human, and hobbits. They also introduce motion capture in the form of Gollum, orcs, and the other creatures. It seemed that the movie could take a lot of years to create it perfectly in that year. You can tell the props are really expensive, Saruman's staff and the Unduril sword. The location and the place look so amazing. The design of each place and the architecture goes on the different level. You can see that it can make you feel like you're in a fantasy world. Looking back at the visual effects of the movie, from the large people and monsters, you can see it was already a great CGI. The camera shots were always on point, that you can see the scenery and the beauty of the place of the Shire that was shot in New Zealand, the mountain, lakes, nature, and the magical places. The angle look at the character bigger or smaller, and the set height was different in the hobbits and humans. And that's all. Thank you for listening to my movie review. I hope you enjoy.